Hello and welcome to Change of Pace Weekly. You are listening to our weekly episode that airs Thursday night, where we talk about what happened in cricket this week, specifically Pakistan cricket. This episode is being recorded on the birthday of Misbah al-Haq, so we'll start the episode discussing his legacy in the terms of Pakistan cricket. We also discuss Waqar Younis as the greatest test bowler of all time in terms of the Barnes standard. We also talk about why Pakistan just fails on producing quality wicketkeepers. And we talk about the new appointments in Saqlain Mushtaq and Beagleboy172 on Twitter as Pakistan's fielding and spin coach.
Bowled in, superb change of pace, and a gem of a delivery.
Musad.
Emmett, how are you guys?
Kya haal hai, Musad? Thank you so much for inviting us and for joining us, and also to our change of pacers on this very special weekly episode. Aaj Misbah ki baat hai aur ye Misbah ki birthday hai, to what a great topic to start the show.
Yeah, General Misbah. He's a new dictator in the long line of Pakistani dictators. But today, let's not talk about Misbah the coach and Misbah the selector and Misbah the prime minister. Let's talk about Misbah,
Inshallah,
the savior. Let's talk about Misbah the batsman, the man who used to come in at number 5 or 6 and save the Pakistani batting lineup when we were 28 for 3. The man who has the most 50-plus scores for Pakistan, but not a single one-day international century. And he is the man to get the most runs in ODI cricket without getting 100. Ahmed Khwaja, where do you see Misbah in all-time Pakistani greats?
Yeah, Misbah has a very special place after the debacle and the horror show of the 2010 summer. Jo hamari team ki halat thi, we lost arguably our 3 best players. Then we lost, the world had lost confidence in Pakistan and in its cricket. So फिर उसको to rise from the ashes once again, to take us all the way over a 6-year and tough, enduring journey. In the summer of 2016, we climaxed into becoming number 1 in the world. Only the second time in our history, he is the greatest, the most successful Pakistan Test captain, in my opinion, the greatest captain period that Pakistan has ever had.
So you're ready to place Misbah al-Haq, the Test captain, above Imran Khan, the Test captain?
यार आप देखो जो मिसबा के 6 साल थे, he never had a world class fast bowler. He had only one world class batsman with him, Yunus Khan. तो उस टीम को आप उठा के लेके चले हो, यूएई में कोई सीरीज नहीं आ रहे, फिर आप न्यूजीलैंड में भी एक सीरीज जीते थे, इंग्लैंड में एक सीरीज ड्रॉ करके आए हो. You achieved so much and you won a series in Sri Lanka as well, in a world record run chase, I believe, for Pakistan, that 370 odd. तो यार इतनी achievements है हमारी, I think he deserves the praise for it.
He definitely deserves the praise. But Emin, I'm going to go over to you about this because Khwaja says we didn't have world-class bowlers, but when we were in Dubai in 2014 and we ran through the likes of Australia and England, sometimes even won by an innings during that period when he was captain, we had Abdur Rahman, Saeed Ajmal, Wahab Riaz with the old ball. They were pretty good bowlers, weren't they?
They were pretty good bowlers, but what Khwaja said about not having, a gun-fast bowler is correct. He was playing with guys like Rahat Ali and Imran Khan, who were bowling in conditions that weren't favorable to them, and they were just kind of holding up their ends while, Saeed Ajmal and Abdur Rahman ran through those lineups. So it was more a tactician's job from Misbah to actually win those matches with essentially just 2 bowlers. He was setting up the plans, he was drawing out the runs, and that was Misbah's brand of cricket. Honestly, when he was first appointed as the captain for Pakistan, he was out. He was out of the team.
Yeah.
He came back out of nowhere, and it was an appointment out of left field. Everyone was questioning it. I was completely against it because I just didn't see him as a guy who could sustain that kind of team or that kind of performance, at such a big stage. He wasn't performing well when he went out, and he comes back, and I think the most successful period that Pakistan has arguably ever had was under Misbah, given all the restrictions. Exactly, and all the restrictions that he had. Exactly, that Khwaja's mentioned, that was under Misbah.
But here's the thing, right? Like, as successful as Misbah is, there's a bunch of people that are still very, on their toes about Misbah. They're very apprehensive about his legacy for Pakistan cricket. And I feel like that stems from the fact that he doesn't really confine to our natural brand. Because we've always been the Wasim Akrams, the Imran Khans, even to a certain extent the Shahid Afridis. Heart on your sleeve, not a lot of strategy, just go in, be crazy, be wild, be fast and furious. When he was on the field, Misbah, he was everything but this. He was completely opposite of the Pakistani cricketing brand that we're accustomed to.
Yeah, and also there was this aspect of consistency that we'd been missing for many years, right? So when Misbah comes in, takes over the test side, you have this sustained period of success for 5, 6 years. Like Khwaja mentioned, we had some victories abroad. We had those remarkable victories here in the UAE. Those run chases against Sri Lanka in Sharjah and in Sri Lanka. Then he goes out and makes the fastest or equals the record for the
That
fastest
too.
100. Right, that was completely against the grain of what you knew Misbah al-Haq to be. Again, forgetting the fact that he actually came in as a T20 specialist and nearly brought that trophy home single-handedly. His brand of cricket was being destroyed by that tuk-tuk logo. So for him to actually win that place in the hearts of Pakistanis eventually is kudos to him, and also it was a change in mindset for the Pakistani fans as well. We realized we didn't need those erratic performances. We needed someone consistent and someone that could actually come in and focus more on winning the matches rather than just, hitting a few sixes and then getting out.
Yeah. But are you okay? You're agreeing to the fact that Misbah is officially Pakistan's greatest ever test captain, Emmett?
Look, it's hard to argue the fact because, the numbers are on his side. Again, leading a side that hasn't had a chance to play at home at all. You're always playing away from home, even if it's the UAE. Again, the kind of attacks or the kind of talent that he had around him, even, mind you, the batsmen that he had weren't the greatest. Azhar Ali came into his own. Asad Shafiq had some periods, but he never had, the best openers.
Right.
He didn't have the best wicket keepers. So he took whatever he had. He took some bits and pieces players, and he built a number one side out of it.
And Khwaja,
Yeah, let me just refresh everybody's memories. We defeated a two-time number one ranked England team, Ashes winning team twice in
Correct.
2012 and 15. We won a series in New Zealand. We won a series in Zimbabwe. We won a series in West Indies for the first time in our history, and we beat Australia in a test series for the first time in 15 years.
True.
1998 mein, I believe हमने उनको last हराया था or something like that, even in a test, let alone a series. So all of these, of course, हम Sri Lanka को भी हराते रहे, and we had that Maghreb chase, that world record chase of like 367
what a wonderful
overs,
memory that
like
was.
that. इतने हमारे milestones थे, और आप हमारी fast bowling देखो यार. If of this last decade, ideally we would have had somebody like Mohammad Amir, Shoaib Akhtar, and Mohammad Irfan would have been our front three. पीछे होते शायद वहाब रियाज और शायद होता उमर गुल. That would have been your 5 fast bowlers. हम इमरान खान senior, तनवीर अहमद, एजाज चीमा, जुनैद खान, ऐसे बिलावल भट्ट, यार कैसे लोग आप लेके हम टेस्ट मैचेस जीते हुए हैं. So that's like the third string of Pakistani domestic cricket. अब जुल्फिकार बाबर तो दूर तक यार उसका नाम नहीं होता था. यासिर शाह तो लोग सोचते थे कोई वनडे T20 बॉलर है, वो टेस्ट मैच नहीं खेल सकता. And look what he's achieved in his career, all under the tutelage of Misbah.
A bit like Imran Khan, you think that Misbah knows how to get the best out of people?
Yeah, that's okay. इमरान खान को क्रेडिट जाता है, he did that, but talent भी तो था. जावेद मियां था, साथ था वसीम अकरम, वकार यूनिस, and of course you had guys like Wasim Raja as well, and you had guys like Mohsin Khan, Mudassir Nazar. These are living legends of Pakistan cricket.
Raja वगैरह, Saeed Anwar वगैरह, they were all playing under. I mean, they were around the time of Imran Khan, so there wasn't a shortage of
मतलब आप
talent.
उसके 80s peak ले लो तो उसमें ये बड़े नाम आते थे, कोई छोटे मोटे तो नहीं थे. अब असद शफीक और ऐसे तौफीक उमर और समी असलम, ये बेचारे कौन सी गिनती में आते हैं हमारी हिस्ट्री में.
समी असलम ने भी मिसबा के अंडर 100s किए हुए हैं. And I mean, but again, Azhar Ali was there to support Misbah Younis Khan. But again, you're 100% right. I don't think there's any doubt over Misbah's test legacy. As a fan myself, some of my most memorable cricketing moments, 2016, that England test series, the Maghreb chase, winning in South Africa, these are feelings that are as good as an ICC Champions Trophy on occasion. But let's talk about Misbah al-Haq, the one-day player and the one-day captain, because that it has a lot of room for debate. Obviously, never got 100 because he used to bat at 5, but he didn't. It wasn't because of a lack of opportunity. And a lot of times, he was really criticized for his maybe lack of intent, lack of strike rate. What do you say to that, Khwaja? Too slow to get out of the gate?
यार, no doubt the ODI results were quite disappointing, especially in UAE. हम कभी कोई series ही नहीं जीते थे. We always managed to be losing to sides like we beat Sri Lanka a couple of times, but other than that, the UAE was a tough round for us. We're losing to England, losing to Australia,
South
and losing
Africa
to South Africa as well in some crazy fashions.
with the
Yeah.
But
one
yeah, आप
run
देखो
game
यार
जो था.
हमारा even जब मिसबा हट गया था कैप्टनसी से 2015 के बाद, जब अजहर अली का वक्त आया था, तो even he had a really tough time, and within a year he
Even
was
worse.
sacked. 2017 में जाके हमारी थोड़ी टीम रीगेन हुई with फखर जमान and Shadab and Hassan Ali, these guys coming in. So we just had a barren spell after about 2011 World Cup till about 2017. 6 साल हमारी वनडे टीम बहुत ही बेकार थी, and we didn't have consistent fast bowling. Of course, Ahmed was off the scene. Shoaib had retired, तो हमारे fast bowler कोई leader भी नहीं था, batsman भी कोई खास नहीं थे. जब हफीज आपका best batsman है, तो आपकी टीम के क्या हालात होंगे, आप खुद ही सोच लो.
So Misbah, the one-day captain,
But
failed.
even then we won. Even then we won a prestigious title. We won the Asia Cup in
Cup, yeah.
2012.
Yeah.
We won a one-day series for the first time. The first time an Asian team has won an ODI series in South Africa. And we beat Bharat in Bharat. What else can we ended Sehwag and Sachin and these guys' ODI careers basically.
Gautam Gambhir वगैरह.
Yeah, I mean, he does have some notches in his belt in the ODI part as well. But again, I think due to the lack of talent, he wasn't able to inspire the one-day team the way he was the test. But Ahmed, what do you say to the fact that maybe that's because of the kind of leader he is? We saw in Dubai tests and Abu Dhabi tests that became a fortress for Pakistan. Misbah had the ability to plan session after session and give his bowlers the patience, give his team the patience. There was on occasion it felt like the tests were getting away from Pakistan. They were heading to a draw, but he always had this plan in mind and belief that the wicket would come, and it would.
Yeah, he used to set those traps, right? We became famous for drying out the runs and then buying wickets when teams tried to attack us or go do something out of the box. देखो, वनडे क्रिकेट में पाकिस्तान का पिछले तकरीबन 7 या 8 साल से यही मसला रहा है कि हमने अपनी क्रिकेट को इवॉल्व नहीं किया. हम वही 90s ब्रांड की क्रिकेट खेलते रहे कि जी 225 से 250 रन बनाएंगे, उसको डिफेंड करेंगे. It was all reliant on the bowlers, and at some point cricket or one-day cricket or limited overs cricket kind of went beyond us because we never found that gear between T20s and test matches, because we were always struggling in the way that we paced our innings. And Misbah himself struggled when he used to play one-dayers. The fact aside that half the team would be out for 40 by the time he came in, he was just never able to get the innings going. It was either that tuk boom or tuk bust.
Yeah.
So the cricket never evolved under him, and his mindset as a test captain was great. It worked in the test arena because you had 5 days and you could do things session by session. But in one-dayers, you don't have that much time.
You need
to
to act quick.
And another point, यार हमारी उस वक्त की आप T20 टीम भी देखो, 2014 T20 वर्ल्ड कप के बाद under Afridi's captaincy we were losing. We were nowhere in even in T20, और उसको तो उन्होंने पहले धक्के मार के 2012 में ही निकाल दिया था मिसबा को. So that was a malaise of the entire Pakistan cricket scene. उसकी सिर्फ गलती नहीं थी कि ODI वीक थी, हमारी T20 भी बहुत बेकार थी. वो सरफराज के अंडर जाके फिर चेंज हुआ है 2016 में.
Exactly. And also if you think about the harmony within that team, you had a lot of bad eggs in that team. You had Ahmed Shahzads and Umar Akmals, and then you had Yunus Khan's drama that was always hanging over his head. Yeah. Even Mohammad Yusuf at some point, he was always coming away from all of these like scandals in the media and everything. It was honestly a tremendous effort from him to keep his composure the way that he did. And now when we talk about him giving these snazzy remarks and everything, I'm okay with it because he's paid his dues. Yeah.
Again, I think you can debate whether Misbah was good enough or as a one-day captain. There is no debate about his test side. But set aside the cricket, when he came into the Pakistan side, we were reeling from scandal after scandal and personality after personality. Pakistan under him were a steady ship and a cricketing brand that were coming out as more mature, more calculated, focusing on fitness and delivering the results at home. To close out the Misbah chapter, I'm going to ask you both a question each. I'm going to name some of his best innings, and you can add one if I've left any out. And you tell me which one you would pick as your favorite. Khwaja, we'll start with you. There's 101 against Australia and Abu Dhabi, the one off 56 deliveries. Mm-hmm. The 114 versus England in Lords in 2016, the push-up celebration. The 82 versus India in Delhi in 07. And this came in a losing cause. The 161 not out versus India in Kolkata in 07 as well.
That was an amazing.
Younis, yeah.
The 102 versus England in Dubai 2015. 350 plus first innings total. The 83 not out versus Sri Lanka and Colombo, this was in the 2011 World Cup. The 96 not out in the Champions Trophy 2013. Khwaja, what's your pick?
Yeah, I'll get another one out of left field. It was 2013. Pakistan was hosting South Africa in the UAE.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I believe, the Abu Dhabi Test, and Mohammad Irfan had made his Test debut in that series.
Right.
And we had bowled out South Africa for 200 something odd. Shan Masood bhi us match mein debut kara tha, aur Eid pe chal rahi thi wo series.
Right.
So it was the second day, and Misbah made 100 on that day. Eid ka din tha, to bahut crowd bhi tha, bahut maza bhi aaya. And we finally beat South Africa in a Test match. The first test of that series. फिर second test में, and I was there live to watch that 100. In fact, तो अच्छा scene हो गया था. फिर second test में इमरान ताहिर ने हमें 99 पे all out कर दिया दुबई में, and we lost.
Okay, well, I mean that's a nice one, and one that wasn't on the list, but definitely beating South Africa anywhere is an accomplishment. Ahmed, what about you?
For me, it's that 100 against Australia, the world record tying 100. Again, it was going against his brand of cricket, and the fact I remember was I hadn't started watching the innings from the beginning, and at just one point, the news came in that hey, Misbah might be approaching the fastest 100 in Test cricket, and it just blew my mind and everyone else's mind that Misbah really. And then he goes
कितना
on.
मारा उसने Steve Smith को उस मैच में यार, कितना मारा था
It was
उसने.
so
Even
against
those
his
edges that
brand.
he was getting down to third.
I don't know if
exactly.
Musad mentioned it or not, but that 90 odd in ODIs he made against West Indies in the Champions Trophy
Trophy,
2013.
I did.
96.
That was an
closest.
amazing innings यार, बहुत जबरदस्त innings थी वो.
Yeah, 2013.
150
that
तो
was a good
total था
knock.
हमारा कोई.
और जो crowd था, I think it was the Oval or Edgbaston, maybe crazy scene था यार, full Pakistan heavy crowd था, but somehow we managed to screw that game as well.
Misbah Huq, legend of the game. We'll talk about another legend of the game, Waqar Younis, and we're going to bring a little bit of arithmetic into this conversation. We obviously all agree that the standard for international batsmen is Don Bradman. He's the best in Test history. Likewise, there was an article written about Sydney Barnes in 2013 on Cricinfo about how he took 189 wickets in 27 Test matches at an average of 16.43, one every 41.6 deliveries. And obviously, nobody was as good as Barnes until 1990, until Waqar Younis started bowling. So what exactly is a Barnes score? So the Barnes score takes a look at Test match bowlers, calculates their best ever 27 match period. So basically the 27 match period in which they've taken the most wickets, have the best average, and have the best strike rate. Okay? Now, if you calculate that for Barnes, it ends up being 0.276. How do we get that number? You basically divide the wickets by the sum of your average and your strike rate. The only person to have a higher score than Barnes has been Waqar Younis. From October 10th, 1990 to September 28th, 1994, Waqar Younis took 177 wickets at an average of 17.3 and a strike rate of 32.7 deliveries, which is a wicket in less than every 6 overs and less than every 18 runs. Is he the greatest ever Test match bowler to play the game?
यार आप इतने मैथ्स आपने मारी है, though I think you just proved it. And सोचो, of course, from 1990 to 1994, he made his debut in 89, I believe. Him and Sachin in the same game, I believe, at Sialkot.
Yeah.
तो सोचो अगर वकार यूनिस 92 World Cup में भी होता यार, तो क्या सीन होता, because he was injured in that. And in 92, in that period, we also won a series in England. Wasim and Waqar led us to a series win in England. वो कहते जी reverse swing, ये tampering कर रहे हैं, ये वो कर रहे हैं, तो बड़ी scandal बना था उस वक्त. But those were truly the glory days of the 2Ws. और Waqar Younis, I believe he had like 200 Test match wickets in like 30 or 32, something insane like that. Okay, आप सोचो, in his prime, he was the most devastating thing that has ever been on a cricket field.
So, what do you reckon? He's better than Wasim Akram in the Test match arena, Emmett?
That's a difficult question. Yeah, देखो, stats wise and everything that you've proven is definitely going to skew the argument in Waqar Younis's favor. And given the fact that we've always considered him a one-day bowler, everyone's considered him a limited over specialist in the way that he used to bowl in the death overs and all that. But I mean, clearly he was phenomenal when it came to Test match cricket. For me, the greatest Test bowlers are the ones that have had the longevity in their careers, that have had the chance to do what they did for a long period of time.
James Anderson.
Yeah, guys like James Anderson. But I mean, James Anderson, gets marred a little bit because he's done more in England than outside England.
Right.
Even someone like Dale Steyn, who approached 100 matches but didn't quite do it. He'll always be in that conversation with Waqar Younis. Very similar stats, very similar style, very aggressive. Can you argue against this 27 match period that he had? No. I
No, you
mean,
can't.
looking at those numbers, it'll easily put him up there. But then again, you have guys like Courtney Walsh and Glenn McGrath who were, doing it for such a long period of time, and against some of the best batsmen along with Waqar Younis, that you can't really take anything away from them.
Yeah, personally, I was always more of a Waqar fan than Wasim, to be quite honest. मुझे हमेशा Waqar Younis की bowling अच्छी लगती थी. Compared to him, especially his run-up, it would get your heart pumping to see him sprinting to the crease and exploding, and those Yorkers. मतलब आखिरी 5 ओवरों में तो पता था ना कि सिर्फ distraction होनी. शुरू में he used to pitch the ball up, try to get it to swing, थोड़ी मार पड़ जाती थी, but his second spell was always devastating. और आपने वसीम भाई की बात छेड़ी है, तो I'll go a bit unpopular opinion. Of course, I get hammered for this all the time. I believe he is the greatest cricketer we have ever produced, not even Imran, because Wasim had a much better ODI career, और उनके test numbers तो चलो match up होते हैं, but what he achieved, he had a much longer bowling career. He wasn't that injured. Imran was injured at his peak, and in the first 3-4 years of his cricket, he debuted in 71. I think 76 तक वो एक pure genuine fast bowler नहीं बना था, and of course in the peak of his career he got injured, and the last 2 years he didn't used to bowl 90 from 1992. So in my opinion, Wasim is the greatest cricketer we have ever produced.
Yeah, but then we also have that stat for Imran Khan, right? Where
वही जो वो वाला stat है, but
exactly
अगर आप analyze करें
वो वाला stat,
लेकिन जब उसकी average आप quote करते हैं कि he used to average I think 50 or something ridiculous, but those are not match winning innings like कि भाई इमरान खान 150 मारे और 160 मारे मैच जीत रहे. He used to basically not get out. He used to like battle us to a draw or make a quick fire.
Let me add a little not out. Let me add a little fuel to your fire, Khwaja, because we are talking about the Barnes score. And again, statistics I feel are arbitrary as well, because you can skew them in whatever favor you'd like, right? Because Ahmed said longevity. We're looking at only a 27 match period here. So maybe over the course of their careers, Wasim takes the edge. But again, looking at it in these small factions, Waqar is better in this period of time. But
like as a bomber pilot, I think Waqar Younis was unbelievable यार. कैसे वो उड़ाता था.
Now,
अब strike rate की वो बात prove करती कि वो विकेट इतनी regularly लेता था.
Exactly.
And it just blows you away.
Also, you look at what 370 plus wickets that he took. Almost 200 of those were just bowled in LBW. So you knew that he had. Exactly. उसको पता था कि भाई मेरा एक ही तरीका है out करने का. I'm going for the stumps, and if you're in the way, you're in the way.
And just to let you guys know, a little funny one here. Out of this list on the Barnes score, the first Indian bowler to show up on this list until Ravichandran and Ashwin came around was Anil Kumble at number 51. Waqar Younis is number 1. Imran Khan is number 4. And Wasim Akram is number 11, followed by Shoaib Akhtar at number 13.
Yep.
So again, even in the Barnes score, Imran Khan is well above Wasim Akram.
और अश्विन को भी अगर आप उसकी होम सीरीज जो वो 10 टेस्ट मैच खेलते हैं in a row at home, वो निकाल दो तो फिर इनके क्या हालात बनेंगे इनके.
You know what I'm surprised to see on this table? I mean, because they haven't updated it, is that where would Yasir Shah end up? Because given the fact that he broke the record for the fastest 200, maybe if you updated this, Yasir Shah might be the greatest test bowler.
We have the template because somebody asked me to calculate Ashwin's and I did that. So I'll calculate Yasir Shah and we'll get back to you next week. But for now, clearly Waqar Younis has a little piece on the mantle about being one of the greats of Test cricket. I'd go as far as saying, because I really do like the Barnes score, saying that for me, he was the greatest of all time. The problem here is that Pakistan keep on producing greats of the game, even when it comes to fast bowlers, even spinners, and some batsmen too. But we've never had a greatest of all time wicketkeeper, not even close. And the proof is in the pudding, because last week we put out a poll on our Change of Pace Twitter asking who would you include in your greatest of all time wicketkeeper, in your greatest of all time Pakistan Test team as the wicketkeeper. The options were Moin Khan, Wasim Bari, Sarfraz Ahmed, Rashid Latif. Obviously, we had to leave out Kamran Akmal, but the votes were divided. 37% went to Rashid Latif, 20% went to Sarfraz Ahmed, Wasim Bari had 11%, and Moin Khan had 31%. And a lot of write-ins we had were for Kamran Akmal, including some very interesting arguments for his favor. My problem is that if you're creating an all-time 11, none of these keepers get anywhere close to any good sides. What is it in Pakistan that we're failing to produce good wicket keepers?
think it's just not a glamorous job. No one wants to be the guy behind the stumps. It's not the one that
नहीं
you get
Musad,
most
what you
credit
are
for.
pointing out is we're not producing good wicket keepers. We're not producing good wicket keeper batsmen.
Batsmen,
मसला तो ये है,
exactly.
बात तो उधर ही है सिर्फ.
Wasim Bari held the
But that's the
record for the
role.
most number of dismissals. No, that's the thing. Back in the day, you didn't have to be a gun batsman. Most
हाँ.
wicket keepers back in the day, from guys like Jeffrey Dujon, who was one of the greatest wicket keepers of all time, or Alan Knott, they were batting at 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, Wasim Bari averages 15. The rest of these
वो तो
guys
10
aren't
पे खेलता
averaging.
था, मैंने देखा हुआ YouTube
Exactly.
पे यार.
And they aren't averaging high 40s or 50s, and they weren't openers. There was very few guys. People like Alex Stewart, when they came in, they started opening the innings, and then guys like Adam Gilchrist that really revolutionized
Mark
the game.
Boucher भी कितना अच्छा
Mark
था.
Boucher, exactly. Ian Healy was batting at 6, 7 as well. Wasn't a great batsman, and that's how it was during that era. So the standard back then was to judge people by their wicket keeping abilities, and this is why, back in the 70s, when I was talking to you guys about Wasim Bari was considered one of the greatest keepers of his era. And people who were great at that time, like Alan Knott from England, they're the ones who were giving him that recognition. So his fellow keepers were recognizing him. Mm-hmm. And until Dhoni came around, I believe he held the record for most number of dismissals for an Asian wicketkeeper.
So your argument
is someone great, but not a great batsman.
Pakistan have had good wicketkeepers, just not good wicketkeeper batsmen.
बिल्कुल.
Yeah, I think even
क्योंकि
guys
Rashid
like
Latif
and Rashid Latif were good.
हाँ, in the poll you gave us, Rashid Latif is considered the most technically fluent keeper. उसका technique सबसे अच्छा था. Moin Khan was a really good one-day player, so that's why लोगों को पसंद था Moin Khan. Sarfraz, I think record-wise the numbers favor Sarfraz in the batting criteria. I think he averages 36 in Test cricket, और उसकी away average भी 30 something है. So I believe somehow he is our all-time great wicket-keeper batsman of the all-time 11. अगर आप बना रहे हो तो उसका नाम ही आना चाहिए.
Are we sleeping on Kamran Akmal though? He has 206 dismissals in 99 innings with 2.08 dismissals per inning, better than everybody else. Sarfraz Ahmed has 167 in 94, which is 1.77. Kami has the second highest dismissals for Pakistan after Wasim Bari. Sarfraz is third. Kami has 6 tons. Sarfraz only has 3. Kamran averages almost 31 with 6 not outs. Sarfraz averages 36 with 13 not outs. And both have scored a similar amount of runs in the same amount of innings. So are we sleeping?
Yeah, I was doing a deep dive on that, and Kamran Akmal actually averages like 23 away from home. So he was really bad overseas. Plus, आपको तो of course अब drops का तो हमने अभी तक बात भी नहीं छेड़ी. उसके तो highlights packages सिर्फ catches drop पे बनते हैं. लोगों के best cover drives पे बनते हैं, इसके best drops पे बनता है. तो और लोगों ने actually fully tabulate किए हैं और उन्होंने find out किए हैं इसके कितने drops हैं. There is actually a numerical number. इसने इतने catch छोड़े और इतनी stumping छोड़ी है.
भाई run out miss कर रहा है ये बंदा. फिर बंदा क्या बोले यार. That's the thing. I think that goes against Kami more than anything. The stats that you're mentioning, if you didn't know Kamran Akmal, if you hadn't watched him play, and if you had no idea that he was dropping sitters and making stupid errors, you would think that he should be in the conversation. But then when it comes down to it, because we watched him play, we can't include him in that conversation.
इसलिए कहते हैं lies, damned lies and statistics. ये वाला सूरत हाल है
Kamran Akmal के लिए. It's not just Kamran Akmal's brand. He actually is a bad wicketkeeper, and he seems to drop catches at the wrong time.
Yeah. For sure.
While we're doing this podcast, somebody has referenced Waqar Younis' Twitter activity on our Twitter and said, Waqar Younis की आवाज़ में जो है intro होनी चाहिए इस episode की. We will look into that. But to wrap up the episode, there's been a little bit of activity on the PCB. Grant Bradburn and Saqlain Mushtaq, 2 appointments to the high performance center at the PCB. Saqlain Mushtaq obviously with his spinneroonies, and Grant will be our fielding coach.
यार ये ब्रैडबर्न साहब तो हाँ फील्डिंग कोच से हमारे डायरेक्टर बन गए हैं. एंड बेसिकली हाई परफॉर्मेंस सेंटर कोई नई चीज नहीं इन्होंने सेटअप की. दे जस्ट रीब्रांडेड द एनसीए. तो दिस इज सम स्मोक एंड मिरर्स गोइंग ऑन देयर. Saqlain Mushtaq, he did really good work with the England team. Moeen Ali credits him a lot for improving his bowling. तो आई थिंक फेयर इनफ. एक इतने बड़ी हस्ती आपके क्रिकेट में इन्वॉल्व है तो कोई बुराई तो नहीं है. गुड लक टू सेकी भाई.
We always say यार ex cricketer नहीं आते, वसीम भाई नहीं आते, मुश्ताक नहीं आते, ये नहीं होता. So this is a nice step because
और वो भी YouTube पे रो रहे होते हैं हमें नौकरी नहीं मिल रही, हमें इज्जत नहीं मिलती. तो ठीक है यार, आ जाओ. मजे की बात है, जो भी नौकरी इज्जत की बात करते हैं उन सबको पीसीबी में पोस्ट मिल चुकी है once upon a time or the other, और सब बाद में भी यही रोना होता है.
भाई
So,
YouTube पे रोना भी नौकरी है. That's a full
Shoaib has
time.
shown them भाई 2 million उसके सब्सक्राइबर हैं, वो भी एक धंधा बन गया ठीक ठाक.
Yeah.
दिलेरी के साथ करना पड़ता है.
What do we know
Did you
about?
guys listen to that Shoaib Akhtar? Sorry to interrupt.
Go
Did you
for it,
did
go
you
for
see that Shoaib Akhtar the little clip that he had with Sanjay Manjrekar talking about
God.
Virat Kohli and modern
Virat.
cricket and Virat and what he would do if he was given the PCB chairmanship and all that stuff? It's always hilarious, man. Shoaib
शेर
talks
और
a
ये
big
और
game.
वो.
Shoaib talks a big game.
आपको वो फोटो देखी हुई ना, वो इमरान खान की, यंग इमरान खान इन हिज लंदन फ्लैट, वो जो टाइगर के उसके चीता प्रिंट उसका बेड एरिया.
I've seen that.
We should photoshop Shoaib Akhtar in there. This is my Daleri bedroom.
Khwaja,
I think that's Shoaib's fantasy.
I want to talk about Pakistani
Seriously,
fielding because, again, we all know about Mushtaq's work. He's been phenomenal with England. He's been great with the West Indies. But
Phenomenal.
there was a little bit of an issue when we changed our last fielding coach. I can't remember his male...
Steve Rickson.
Rickson. Because Rickson changed a lot for us. And now we've got Grant in place of him. And he's now the head of fielding at the High Performance Center or at the NCA, whatever you'd like. Where do you see him taking our fielding? Because, again, we're... the likes of Shadab, Fakhr, Imad, well, not Imad, but Shadab, Fakhr, maybe Imam al-Haq, Babar Azam, their fielding is pretty decent, but we're not world-class yet.
यार आई थिंक द मेन इशू विद दिस, एक तो बात सबसे ज्यादा कोट होती है, इज द लैक ऑफ फैसिलिटीज. वी नीड आवर चिल्ड्रन टू बी प्लेइंग मोर इन ऑन ग्रास आउटफील्ड्स रादर देन द स्ट्रीट्स एंड बैल्कनीज. यार उधर पर अब डाइवात तो नहीं मारोगे, जाहिर सी बात है. यू डेवलप अ टेक्निक ऑफ लेग साइड हॉइक्स एंड ऑल दैट. सो if we get more facilities to get them diving around and going for the ball, फिर naturally उनके एक तो muscle memory भी वैसी बनती है and they get used to throwing themselves around. But अब वो नहीं हो सकता. तो PCB at least under 15-14 level पे बच्चों को उठा के ले जाते हैं training के लिए. So in that role maybe Grant साहब can be useful in teaching them drills and maybe getting their diet in order, getting them stronger, more willing to dive, fitter, more willing to take catches, getting them fitter. So let's see how it goes. Hopefully he can produce some results. जो हमारे जो last under 19 के बच्चे थे, थोड़े दुबले पतले से हैं तो उनसे हिटें नहीं लगती, but they were pretty sprightly in the field. Agile, they're not bad.
I think one thing that you're missing out on is when we were growing up watching Pakistan cricket, we never had great fielders to look up to. The guys that we'd always reference and the world references was Jonty Rhodes. But then when you look around the block to the other teams, guys like Herschel Gibbs and Ricky Ponting, they were great. They were some of the best fielders of all time. And now if you have a guy like Simons, exactly, if you have a guy like Shadab Khan, who's pulling off those spectacular runouts or taking those amazing catches, that also drives you as a person watching cricket, as a child watching cricket, that I want to do the unthinkable. I want to affect these kind of runouts. I want to take these kind of catches, and then you start throwing your body around and building that mindset. So I think it's important to have those kind of heroes in the game.
Hopefully Shadab Khan diving around at point can change that for some of our future players. But we've had some really good throwbacks to the past with Misbah al-Haq, Waqar Younis, some stuff to look forward to with Mushtaq and Bradburn taking the helm at the PCB Academy.
But looks like हमारा World T20 तो इस साल off ही लग रहा है.
World T20 is off. Yeah, World T20 is definitely off. But let's leave the episode on a bit of a lighter note. Has any of you read the excerpts from Ben Stokes' new book?
यार मैंने कोई ट्विटर पे पढ़ा कि वो कह रहा था कि Pakistan should have been in the semi-finals or something.
They were the toughest team to beat on paper, and that India in the game that they played against them. And we were talking about this while that match was happening.
जो बेस्टों ने उनको उड़ा दिया था उनके वो
भाई वो जीतने के लिए मतलब जा ही नहीं रहे थे when Dhoni came out to bat, when the rest of the team came out to bat. And it was evident to even the English team. So there was definitely, मतलब कहते हैं ना दाल में कुछ काला था, दाल में definitely कुछ काला था.
और लोग भूल रहे हैं England team could have been knocked out. They had must-win games their last 3-4 games. उनको किसी भी हालत में जीत.
Yep.
So कुछ ना कुछ planning हुई होगी Big 3 की.
Again, we'll leave you on that note to cry over spilt milk and think what would have happened if Pakistan had made it to the semifinals at that World Cup, because they did beat both finals. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, with another episode of Change of Pace Weekly to figure out what's happening in the cricketing world and if Shoaib Akhtar still has a job or not. See you then.
Oh, a ball in, slow ball, beautiful beauty.
To the Sharjah Stadium as Ben Dunk sits back in the crease, reads a slower delivery, and launches this over mid-wicket again. That is a poor over.
फास्ट बॉलर तो हीरा होता है यार, बैट्समैन तो कोयला होता है उसके सामने. क्या बात कर रहे हो?
I think you guys can speak.
अगर बाउंड्री लग जाएगा तो बॉयज मजा आ जाएगा. Oh, I think that's a 6. That's a huge 6.
यार बॉयज थोड़ी फट रही है.
Karachi is behind their son. The Prince of Karachi has returned, and he is victorious tonight at the National Stadium. He will lead the Purple Force, the Gladiators, into the Coliseum of Fire.
Bowled in, superb change of pace. The gem of the delivery.